People will remember going out of this and back into the, I guess, whatever normality there is in the world. They will remember the brands that actually cared, the brands that listened, the brands that did things. They will also remember the brands that didn't do as much.
It's Monday! Woo! Obviously, we're a few months into the old COVID and everyone seems to be adapting quite nicely. We've moved to a lot of working from home situations. We've seen brands adapt their business models. But we're also seeing some businesses that are struggling and also some consumers are struggling. That might be in terms of addressing their mental health, addressing their physical health. In today's topic, we're talking about how brands can add value during COVID. So there are numerous ways and topics that brands can tap into during this point of time. The other pressing matter that we have is that in around a week's time, we're looking at a return to physical storefronts. What are consumers going to be looking for as a return into those shops? Well, firstly, they're going to feel safe. They're going to want to feel protected. They're going to want to feel it's worth risking leaving their house to come to your shop. So how do you do that? Brands can be looking to offer health and safety guidance, distributing information related to policies on how they're going to be operating their stores, what kind of experience customers can expect when they arrive at those stores, any changes, potential turnaround times with shipping. What consumers are really going to want and are going to be craving is that transparency.
Brands add value off of socials, but how can brands add value on socials? I think being transparent is a very important thing to do, let alone during a pandemic. Your customers always kind of need to know what's going on, and you need to be truthful with them. You need to let them know if things are going well, then you can tell them, but if things aren't going so well, you've got to be honest with that. And if there's certain delays or issues or something going wrong somewhere down the process, or things are going to take more time to solve and it's going to affect the final product, then your customers are going to need to know that. And usually I think they'll be more appreciative of it. They're going to respect you a lot more for being honest about why things are happening that way. If the biggest brands in the world are struggling with things that are happening, then why wouldn't the small, why are small businesses not going to be affected? Of course they are. So I think being transparent and being honest with your customers and consumers is super important.
Before attempting to provide value for an audience, you've got to remember that right now in this current climate, people are paying more attention to brands. They are taking a bit of a more in-depth dive because there's nowhere to go and nothing to do. Before brands should consider talking to an audience, what is the value that they're giving back? I think in this day and age, more so than ever, it's about how much they are actually engaging with world problems. Adding value on social is great. Obviously, you have a large voice for the most part. You can be and should be contributing to these important topics. Adding value off social is just as important. Pledging money to some of the charities, helping where you can. Obviously with the coronavirus, we had a huge fundraising effort for the NHS. People will remember going out of this and back into the, I guess, whatever normality there is in the world. They will remember the brands that actually cared, the brands that listened, the brands that did things. They will also remember the brands that didn't do as much, or did nothing, or didn't even acknowledge the situation that was happening. That's going to be more important if you didn't do anything. Take, for example, within coronavirus, Brewdog were actually handing out hand sanitizers when there was a shortage within the UK. That's great, that's useful, and it also shows they care. They're sinking money for doing so. Brands have been responding. There's been quite an aggressive stance from Ben & Jerry's, who take a zero tolerance to any racial injustice, as you should, but it's been continued. They've gone on for days now with constant social presence, talking about ways to educate yourself, talking about ways to help the cause, pointing to other businesses that are black owned. They have done everything, and they really truly believe and care about what is happening. And you can see that, and it comes across within their social advertising too.
So before they even begin to start adding value during COVID, you've got to think, why do you want to add value during COVID? Is it something that your team is perhaps struggling with and you've got some great ideas? Yeah, in general also, if you have genuinely found something that's been useful or helpful, then of course people want to hear that. People want to listen to find tips. I think COVID is affecting a lot of people, and not very many people are gonna know what to do. So if you've actually got any advice, I think everyone's kind of in this together. So if you've got any decent advice at all, it's probably worth sharing. Valing Adju. Don't think that's right.